Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers with my full review of the New Balance More V5. Let's have a look. The New Balance More V5 costs £140 or $154.99. It weighs 306 grams or 10.8 ounces for men in a size 8 and the drop is 4mm. The fifth version of New Balance's Max Cushion shoe receives a number of updates aiming to improve on the popular V4. The biggest of those is a new midsole composition using the same soft foam found in the 1080 B13 and a slightly increased stack height. To counter the updates, there's a noticeably wide base to ensure plenty of stability in the shoe. The More V5 also sees modifications to the engineered mesh upper design to improve both the breathability of the shoe and the padding around the ankle, collar and tongue, and the outsole sees a complete overhaul, with less rubber coverage which does leave more exposed sections of the midsole. The More V5 also comes in 3 different width sizes. Okay, so the fit for me in the More V5, I'm a size 8 in the UK, that's a size 8.5 in the US. I found it to be a very comfortable shoe in my size. There's plenty of space around the side of the shoe. It's a fairly roomy forefoot, and there's just enough space before my big toe to make it nice and comfortable. There's loads of padding in the shoe, not too much, it's not overly padded, but it's very, very comfortable around the ankle collar, and the tongue as well has a nice level of padding in it also. There was one concern I had when I started testing the shoe, and that was that it has a slightly shallow forefoot area above the toes. When I first put them on, I thought, is it going to rub my toes when I'm out on a long run in it? I've done about 70k in this shoe so far, not had any problems in it. The upper is actually quite stretchy, this mesh material, so it's actually quite forgiving when you're out running in it. So I definitely say stick to your size in this shoe. It also comes in different width sizes as well. I've got the standard width size, but there are different width sizes you can get in the More V5, so if you do want significantly wider versions of it, you can do. So stick to your size in the More V5. Okay, so if you are a fan of the channel, you've seen some previous videos where I've talked about cushion shoes, you'll probably know that the More V3 and the More V4 are 2 of my favourite ever shoes. So I was very excited about testing out the More V5. I've done about 70k in this shoe so far, and that has varied across easy runs, recovery runs of about 5 to 10k, but I've also done a 28km marathon training session in this shoe, not at my marathon pace. It was at a more comfortable pace, so about 5-minute kilometers, and I've just done an interval session in this shoe as well, which is about 16k, and had 6 times 6 minutes at my 10k pace. So tested it out across a lot of different types of runs. It's not really a shoe that's designed to be versatile. It's a shoe that's very, very much in that world of comfort, easy day, longer sessions at a nice, comfortable pace. And it does that very, very well. One of the main reasons that I like the V3 and the V4 is that when you were out running on easy runs and on longer sessions at a comfortable pace, it just had a really nice balanced midsole in it. It wasn't too soft, it had a nice rolling action, had a nice rocker in it, and it just meant that you could really maintain a really comfortable pace with this really wide base on the shoe that just makes it nice and easy to just enjoy a long or an easy run without any issues or any sort of sluggishness that you might get from a really soft shoe. The More V5 has a new midsole foam in it, and it is a little bit softer than what you get in the V4. It's not way softer, so it doesn't dramatically change the ride. It just gives you a little bit more bounce and a little bit more softness on the ride, which is just enough to make it still have a similar feel to those previous versions of the shoe, but still giving it a nice added level of just a little bit more energy return and a little bit more comfort, which I really noticed out on the run. When I'm doing easy runs in the shoe, it is exactly what it's designed for. It's a shoe that's meant to be comfortable. It's a shoe that's got lots of padding in it. It's got loads of foam in it, but it's also got a very wide base on it. So it is a really accessible type of max cushion shoe that is designed for everyone, really. Some max cushion shoes do have a problem with stability because they can have thinner stacks of midsole foam. This is a really wide base on this shoe, so it's quite an accessible shoe, and you can really feel it guiding your feet as you're running. So there's a nice level of stability for a shoe with so much foam in, as the More V5. On easy runs, really comfortable, just works perfectly for those. You basically put it on, you go out for your run, it just feels really nice and enjoyable. The perfect shoe to wear if you're just going for a nice easy run. For longer sessions, so that 28k run I did, the V4 was fine for longer sessions. Never had any issues with it at all, and found it to be a very enjoyable shoe if you're going to do a long run at a very comfortable pace. Wouldn't use it for anything like a tempo session, or if I was doing a marathon session where I was really picking up the pace for certain sections of it, just because it didn't have any versatility to it. It was really only designed for the comfort and easy runs and the long runs at a nice comfortable pace. More V5, very similar. There's not a massive change into what it's delivering, but there's just a little bit more to it as well. So there's a little bit more energy return in there. The ride's very similar. You're not going to get loads of pop off. It's not the most energy giving shoe out there, but it's just a lovely cruising shoe that just makes your legs and your feet feel really comfortable for the duration of those runs. The run I did today, which was a 16k interval session, so that was 6 times 6 minutes at my 10k pace, which is around 4 minute kilometers. And what I found about this shoe for that is that it's not a shoe that's designed for doing that. You're not going to use this for lots of interval sessions because it is quite a big shoe. It is quite a relatively heavy shoe in comparison to lots of the more daily shoes that are designed to be versatile. But this midsole foam is better than the V4 when it comes to picking up the pace a bit. I did feel like it was giving me a bit back when I was going on the faster sections of that interval workout. I wouldn't pick it up again, I don't think, for an interval session, but it does feel like there's just a little bit more to this shoe. So in the world of max cushion shoes, I think it's gone up a notch in terms of its versatility. Not massively. I mean, there's lots of other max cushion shoes out there that probably do a better job for versatility, but this is a little bit better than what you'll have experienced from the previous versions of the More range. The other thing I'd say about the shoe is that the outsole is been very good for me so far. It does have exposed areas of the midsole foam. It's only got rubber around this front section and the back section, but there's lots of exposed midsole foam. I've been running on some pretty tricky terrain recently. I've been taking this on public footpaths and bridle ways and things like that. It's actually looking pretty good. There's no real signs of wear or tear on the outsole, especially on these exposed sections, which I was worried about when I started running in it. The V4 actually had a very sturdy midsole on it. This is a little bit, because it's softer and a little bit more delicate, I was worried that it would be I would have some issues with the durability of it, but it's absolutely fine. I've had no issues at all and it looks absolutely perfect. I also say that I've been running on a lot of wet ground recently, and I've been going up and down hills, and I've had no issues with the grip on this shoe at all. So solid outsole on it for me so far. So my verdict on the More V5, you can probably guess, I'm a big fan of this shoe. The More V4, the More V3 were some of my favourite cushion shoes for easy days, for those daily runs where you're just ticking off the miles and you're not really trying to pick up the pace or anything like that. The More V5 is an improvement on those. You get a better midsole foam for comfort, you get a little bit more bounce in it, and a tiny bit, it was definitely softer, but not to the point where it makes it sluggish. With shoes like the 1080 V13, the midsole foam really was a big departure from the 1080 V12, and some people didn't like that because it did make it a little bit more sluggish and less responsive when you're out on the run. I think even though this is very similar foam to what you get in the 1080 V13, it doesn't feel as soft as that. I think based on the size of it, on the width of the midsole foam, that you actually get a bit more of a balanced foam, but you still get a lot of the benefits of that slightly added softness and a little bit more bounce. So it's definitely a shoe that has a little bit more versatility to it, but I wouldn't say it's a shoe that you would buy for versatility at all. It's definitely a shoe firmly in that world of you want a comfy cushion shoe to do your easy runs in and your longer sessions in, and you just want something that's going to keep your legs fresh and just give you comfort for the duration of those runs. The 28k run I did in this, it felt absolutely great. I wasn't running at a fast pace, I wasn't picking up the pace at any point, and it just felt really comfortable and smooth for the whole duration of it. And when I got home, legs felt nice and fresh after that run. So it's definitely an improvement for me on the More V3 and the More V4. And it's a shoe that I think is quite accessible to a lot of people. Some people it probably is a little bit too soft, and I wouldn't have said that about the More V5 because the More V5 was a really nice balanced midsole. So for some people this may be a little bit too soft, especially in the max cushion world, but for other people who just want a comfortable easy run shoe that is going to tick off loads and loads of miles, this is definitely one of my favourite options out there at the moment. If I was to compare it to other max cushion shoes out at the moment, which is a tricky job because there are a lot of max cushion shoes out at the moment, and so they're not all designed equally. So some max cushion shoes are designed for bounce and responsiveness and speed, things like the Super Blast 2, whereas other shoes like the Brooks Glycerin Max are really just a solid, easy day shoe that's designed for comfort. I would probably put the Brooks Glycerin Max at the bottom end, where it's just purely designed for comfort and without a lot of versatility. I'd put this over it because I think there's a little bit more bounce in the foam. Then I would go to something like the Puma Mag Max Nitro, and then I go up to something like the Super Blast 2, where you've got a foam that isn't really soft, and it does allow you to pick up the pace quite a lot, but you've still got that max cushioning in there. That's it from me on this review of the New Balance More V5. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that little bell, and if you're going to catch me below, you can find a link to our podcast, which comes out a couple of times each month. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.